What's going on? This is Coach Marcus for Pro Fan Talk, and everybody is talking about Saquon Barkley. Rightfully so. The things that he is doing right now in the NFL is absolutely incredible. Him and Derrick Henry are going back and forth for the rushing lead, and both of them are putting up performances, but specifically the things that Saquon Barkley is doing now that he is out of New York and behind a solid, one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Now you get to see his potential. So you get a lot of feedback and a lot of commentary on the things that Saquon is doing, actually realizing his potential behind a good team and not getting stuck in the dregs of New York. But obviously, with Jason Kelce retired and doing commentary on Prime and different things like that, I saw him on Rich Eisen, and he said this.
But what you see with Saquon is just the ability at any moment to create this explosive touchdown that, we haven't really had, since like LaShawn McCoy was probably there.
Pause. Hold up. So one of the things that I remember is we have always had good running backs, probably for the last 5 seasons, going back to when we first got Miles Sanders. No, we have not had a running back with the quality or pedigree of Saquon Barkley, but we've been damn close. The problem hasn't been the talent we had on the field. The problem has always been the Eagles' offense and their reluctancy to run the ball. That's been the issue. I was a Miles Sanders fan. A lot of people didn't like Miles Sanders, but don't discount what Miles Sanders did while he was here. Miles Sanders, when he was with Philadelphia, but Miles Sanders was here, 2022, our Super Bowl year, he had almost 1,300 yards. He had 1,269, had a 4.9 yards per carry average, scored 11 touchdowns, started 15 out of the 17 games, so he didn't get nicked up. I know him being injured was a knock on him, but that year everything was rolling, and he ran the ball 259 times. So he had 259 attempts to run the ball, right? And you look at it before. The year before, 21, he only carried the ball 137. Ended up with 754. Then you drop back in 2020, he carried the ball 164 times. Ended up with 867. So he's been consistent when he was with Philadelphia. His 2019, his rookie year, 4.6 yards a carry. 2020, 5.3 yards a carry, 5.5 yards a carry. So he did what he was supposed to do. The problem was they didn't give him the ball. I believe in 2022, Jacobs won the rushing title. And if I would argue, based on the math, that if Miles Sanders had run the ball as many times as Jacobs did, Miles Sanders would have been in top 3 in rushing yards, maybe even led the league. Because if you go back, you look at Josh Jacobs that year, so you're talking about 2022 with the Raiders, 1,653 yards. He carried the ball 340 times. So if you take Miles Sanders' average yards per carry times the difference in carries, he would have made up the difference. So the problem isn't the quality of back we had. The problem is the Eagles never really committed to running the ball like that. And this is something that we've been screaming since Miles Sanders was here. Run the ball. Our offensive line has been tops in the league since before Miles Sanders got here. We've always had a good offensive line, going back 8, almost 10 years. So we've always had a dominant offensive line. We just never ran the ball. We never ran the ball. Even when we won the Super Bowl in 2017, Corey Clement was doing this thing. But we still didn't run the ball because Nick Foles was throwing the ball all over the place. But we could have established ourselves as a running team even back then. Now, you go back and you look at, right now, you look at Josh Jacobs. So when he led the league in rushing, 340 attempts, right? Let's go back to Derrick Henry. You look at Derrick Henry when he was with Tennessee in 2020, when he had 2,000 yards, 378 attempts. His yards per carry was 5.4, but they were dedicated to running the ball. Right now, he's got 221 attempts, and how many games we got left? So he's got plenty of time to get those numbers up. Then you look at Saquon. His best year with the Giants was 2022, right? 295 carries. Then you get here, 11 games played. So we got 6 games left. He's got 223 carries, averaging 6.2 yards per carry. So if he gets anywhere near 300 carries for the season, and I think he will, he's going to get damn close to 2,000 yards. But it's not necessarily because Saquon is an all-world back. It's because the Eagles have finally, after years of bitch moaning and complaining, the Eagles have finally gotten to be a run-first offense. We are letting our offensive line just smash the defensive line, and ain't a damn thing they can do about it. Because you got Lane Johnson, Mekhi Becton. There's not too many people bigger than Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata. We got Mekhi Becton, who is as big as Jordan Mailata. And at guard, Landon Dickinson is on the other side, Cam Jurgens is in the middle. The size we have on our offensive line, the strength, the speed, the agility we have on our offensive line is tops in the league. Find me another offensive line that's better than what we got right now. That is the difference, and we are finally letting the offensive line dictate what we do in these games, and nobody can stop it. And it's a shame that it took that long to figure this out. It should not have taken this long. There's no way it should have taken this long. But we're here, and now it's paying dividends. You could have done that last year with DeAndre Swift. When DeAndre Swift got here and you saw how explosive he was, then you saw the upgrade from Miles Sanders to DeAndre Swift. Not discrediting or disrespecting Miles Sanders, because he was a slasher type runner. DeAndre Swift was more explosive, not quite as big, but could get in and out of those small places and run away from you. And that's exactly what he did, but we didn't give him the ball enough. And he still got over 1,000 yards. So just imagine if we would have ran the ball with DeAndre Swift, with this offensive line, and Kelce was still here, it still would have worked. We were still doing the brotherly shove, and we were still doing all of that type of stuff. So it's not the back. It's the offensive line that dictates what we can do on the field. And right now, the Philadelphia Eagles are playing bully to all defensive lines. Our offensive line is pushing everybody back. You get a chance to watch film, watch the get off. The get off literally is who pushes who when the ball is snapped. Does the offensive line move forward, or does the defensive line push us back? Who wins the get off? That is who determines who has the line of scrimmage, who owns that, whose territory is that. That is how you get a good running game.